All right, let's jump right in. What if the universe isn't just out there, a bunch of stars and planets? What if it's actually listening to you? That's what we're diving into today. This fascinating idea of what happens when the universe can actually read your mind. No, seriously, think about it. Has this ever happened to you? You have a thought, maybe a quiet little wish, or just a passing desire, and then, boom, it happens. It shows up in the real world in some totally weird, uncanny way. It's a feeling that's kind of startling, but also pretty amazing, right? And really, this is the core idea we're unpacking today. The thinking here is that this feeling of being separate from everything, well, it's just an illusion. The reality is we're all deeply connected, and what goes on in our minds can actually create ripples in the world around us. So let's start with this first big idea. The concept that our thoughts don't just stay locked up inside our heads. They can actually echo outwards. This right here is the real challenge, isn't it? It's not just about noticing weird coincidences when they pop up. The idea is to actually move toward a two-way street, a conversation with the cosmos. And to see how that might even work, let's look at a really specific story. So, how exactly does the universe answer back? Let's dig into a story where a simple, silent wish got a very direct and very real response. The story kicks off simply enough. Our narrator needed a coin, a very specific one. It wasn't about the cash value. It was about finding that particular coin for a reason. And you know that feeling, right? That frustration when you're tearing the house apart, you're checking every single pocket, every drawer, and just nothing. The coin was completely gone. So later on, after giving up the search, they had to go out. And there, in the last place you would ever think to look, right in the middle of traffic. Can you believe it? Not just any old coin, but the exact one they've been frantically searching for just a little while earlier, just lying there, as if it was waiting to be found. And this just perfectly captures that feeling we're talking about. It doesn't feel like some grand miracle. It's more personal, almost like a game. A little wink from the universe letting you know it heard you. But what happens when the tables are turned? Okay, so let's take this idea a step further. Because sometimes you're not the one asking for a sign from the universe. Sometimes you are the sign. This is where things get really interesting. What if those random urges you get, to help someone out or give something away, what if they aren't so random after all? The source gives us two really powerful examples of what it calls cosmic deliveries. In one, the narrator gets this sudden, really strong feeling to buy a new pair of shoes for a young guy at his gym. In the other, his wife just decides on a whim to buy gifts, a wallet and a handbag for their tailor and his wife. And this is where it gets crazy, right? The synchronicity of it all? That young guy at the gym with the worn-out shoes? Yeah, he desperately needed a new pair. And the tailor? His wallet was literally falling apart, and he was thinking about getting a new one. His wife felt her handbag just wasn't right for the city and was hoping for a replacement. So these gifts, they weren't just random acts of kindness. They were direct answers to needs nobody ever spoke out loud. So here's the key takeaway, this idea of becoming an instrument. It's like the universe needed to deliver something, a pair of shoes, a wallet, and it picked a person to be the messenger, the delivery service for that cosmic wish. And this all leads to some pretty practical advice. That little voice in your head, that sudden impulse to do something kind for someone. The suggestion here is to actually listen to it. Don't just brush it off. Trust that you might just be playing a part in a much bigger conversation. Okay, so if this back and forth is really happening, how do we get better at it?
How do we, tune our own frequency to get more in sync with everything?
Well, according to the source, the language of the universe is all about vibration and energy. So to speak it, you've got to put out the right kind of energy yourself. That means focusing on things like kindness and openness and letting go of all the bad vibes, the negativity, the resistance, the doubt, because all that stuff just acts like static on the line.
So, how do we actually do this? How can we put it into practice? It's broken down into 4 pretty clear steps. First up, trust the urge. Don't dismiss those quiet impulses to act. Second, and this is a big one, always try to stay positive. It's all about putting out good, kind energy. Third, you got to tune in. Use love and awareness as your tools to just listen more closely to the world. And finally, if you do all this, you'll start to learn. You'll begin to see the patterns and, well, you'll start to understand the language it's speaking.
And this quote really just brings it all home, doesn't it? The idea isn't that the universe suddenly starts talking to us one day. The message is that it's been talking all along, through all those little coincidences, those urges, those quiet moments. The real work is on our end, to learn how to listen. So we'll leave you with this final thought. As you go about your day today, just try to pay a little more attention to the weird coincidences, the unexpected chances, those quiet little nudges to do something. What messages might be waiting there for you if you just take a moment to tune in and really listen?